What's going on, guys? BossBoy6 here, back to another video, and today I'm here to do my NFL Week 10 predictions. Well, Week 9 went and came, and yeah, that was certainly a week that happened. It was full of chaos and endless amount of pain for some franchises because good chunk of these teams are have 2 wins. Yeah, 2 wins of the season, and I do apologize. See if I can adjust that a little bit. That looks good to me. Yeah, it's not looking so great for some of these teams right now. Most of these are obviously drafting for taking for draft position, and yeah, it's about as ugly as putting lipstick on a pig. So yeah, without further ado, without all the yapping, let's get into these games. Starting off tonight with Thursday Night Football, we have an AFC North rematch from a couple weeks ago. We've got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Bengals coming off with a huge victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. Joe Burrow had probably the best game of the season so far. And yeah, just the Raiders had no chance against the Bengals at all in that game. Again, Joe Burrow threw for 5 touchdowns in that game, and Ja'Marr Chase and especially Chase Brown were looking really damn good. And also, they got a new addition to the running back position. Khalil Herbert, formerly of the Bears, has now joined with the Bengals for the trade deadline. So it's going to be a little nice to see. Not only with Zach Moss, I think, is battling through injury, but also you got not only a good running back in Khalil Herbert, but also an up and coming running back in Chase Brown. I think that offense is going to be a little bit better. However, they're going up against the Ravens, who just absolutely laid waste to the Denver Broncos in a game that was close for about a quarter, and then everything just went to shit for the Broncos. Lamar Jackson had yet another damn good game, and probably one of the best games of his entire career. Looks like Derrick Henry's going to be reaching 2,000 yards this season. Maybe he might even beat Eric Dickerson's record. We can only speculate. And that offense of just the three-headed monster of Lamar, Flowers, and Henry is just an unstoppable force right now. And the only thing that can really stop the Ravens is really themselves and their defense. Their defense has been a little bit shaky, especially that secondary. But they did get Tre'Davious White, which I don't really think is going to make too much of an impact, especially for Baltimore, considering that he hasn't really been the same ever since his injuries. Not to mention he's getting up there in age. But he is still a reliable cornerback. It's just, is he really going to be the big centerpiece and that big moving piece for that secondary? I don't really think so, but you know what? It is what it is, I guess. Now, this game can kind of go both ways. I can honestly see Cincy try to make a bit of a move, but I do hope this is a bit of a shootout because who doesn't like a good shootout on the Thursday Night Football game that happened with the Bucks and with the Falcons earlier? So why not with an AFC North division? So I was originally going to go with the Bengals because I wanted to have a little bit of faith in them because they were starting to crawl their way back into the playoff position. But with how dominant the Ravens were, I can honestly see Baltimore getting away with another AFC win. But I wouldn't be too shocked if the Bengals try to make this a bit of a competitive game. But I do got Baltimore getting the victory here. And then, I am so sorry, Germany. We're going to go all the way across the pond to Germany for the New Jersey Giants versus the Carolina Panthers. And kids, this isn't your dad's regular tank ball. This is the Panzer Bowl. Oh, yes. Oh, the glorious, glorious beams and terrible football. Oh, yeah. I do apologize for a lot of Germans for my terrible accent, but I am part German, apparently. Yeah, the Giants, yeah, they're just not a good team, and it's not looking good for any team right now. Hell, Daniel Jones had a stat line where he was 0 for 0. Or no, he was 4 for 4, 0 passing yards, and 1 touchdown. That was a legit stat line in a football game. And not to mention, Daniel Jones finally threw a touchdown. For the first time in my life since January of 2023. The Chiefs have been to 2 Super Bowls more recently than Daniel Jones throwing a pass in MetLife Stadium. Oh, good God. How the hell do you do that? But yeah, the Giants, they did come up in a close affair with the Commanders, but the Commanders were just a better team. Meanwhile, the Panthers, hey, you got to win. It's better than nothing. And you know what? Good for Bryce Young. I actually do feel good. I do feel happy for him. And yeah, the Saints, and that really goes to show you how terrible the Saints are because, my God, Both these teams are terrible, and yeah, they're just wanting to get out of the hellhole that is the number one pick. So, yeah, this is going to be a terrible game. It's going to be a low-scoring affair. I'm going to go with the Giants, though. I just think the Giants have a little bit of a better defense and maybe a better offense, but yeah, it's not looking all that good. Although the Panthers did extend Chuba Hubbard to a 4-year contract, which it's nothing too fancy, but I guess it's better than nothing. And yeah, it's not looking all that good right now for Carolina. But I'm going to go with the Giants, but God help us all. Following that, we have an NFC South matchup between the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. The Falcons coming off with a big victory over the Dallas Cowboys. Kirk Cousins had another damn good game of his entire career as a Falcon. He made little to no mistakes. Drake London, even though he's been battling a bit of an injury, I do think is starting to really come into his own. And Darnell Mooney, he's looking like a really good piece, especially coming off of the Bears. Meanwhile, the Saints, yeah, I think they're really embracing the rebuild. They have been kicking the can down the road for so many years, and they are in cap hell. They have, what, negative $77 million in cap? Yeah, I think it's time to remove some of the pieces. Not to mention, they finally fired Dennis Allen, who shouldn't have been there in the first place, but I certainly digress. It's just not looking good for the Saints right now. They actually did give up Marshawn Lattimore to the Commanders, which is probably a smart idea considering that Lattimore, even though he has been reliable, he's been kind of a non-threat when it comes to the Saints. So even though I do think Atlanta's defense is a little bit shaky, I do think they're a better team overall. I don't see the Saints making any noise this year, which is honestly insane considering how fantastic they were the first 2 weeks, and then they've been losing 7 games in a row. So I'm going to go with the Falcons with this one, even though they're not a perfect team. I do think they're the better team overall. And God bless the NFC South. That's all I'm going to say. Following that, we have a Super Bowl 20 rematch on the way. We've got the New England Patriots versus the Chicago Bears. The Patriots, well, at least Drake May looks like a future franchise QB, so I guess there's that. Yeah, the Patriots came off of a overtime loss to the Tennessee Titans, where Drake May had himself a great game, but ended up losing in the very end in a game that certainly existed. The Patriots right now, they got nothing going for them. They don't have any weapons. They only just have Drake May and literally no one else. Their O-line's falling apart. They are injured to hell and back. And not really everyone feels bad for them because they've been rolling the league for 20 plus years. And no one really feels bad for their downfall. Meanwhile, the Bears, ooh, they're struggling. They are struggling. They are the literal epitome of football hell and nothing else. Caleb Williams, for the second week in a row, did not play all that well. DJ Moore, I don't know what's going on with him, considering that he left the sideline during the play. Maybe he was injured, maybe not. They didn't put Cole Kmet in for some weird reason. Their defense is damaged. It's just not looking good that well for the Bears. And not to mention, Matt Eberflus is not looking all that good right now as a head coach, and he's probably going to be canned after this season. But, yeah, I guess that's what you get for being a cheap and a inept franchise there, the McCaskies. Yeah, this is probably going to be a very ugly game, and a part of me wants to say the Patriots just to laugh at the Bears a little bit, but I do think Chicago is still the better team on paper. They just need to get their shit together, and they need to get their shit together quick, because this team was going to be a playoff contender, but it doesn't look like they're going to be even close by a playoff contention. I am going to go with Chicago, though, because, again, New England doesn't really have anything going for them. And Bears, don't embarrass me. That was an unintentional pun. Following that, we have a bit of an interesting matchup here. We've got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Washington Commanders. The Steelers are doing themselves a very nice bye week, but before that, had himself a game of the lifetime against the New Jersey Giants. And, the Steelers right now are a very interesting team, to say the least. They are technically winning the AFC North, even though they are winning by Steeler fashion, which means very, very, very ugly football. But Russell Wilson is doing really damn solid, and they did get 2 new pieces in Preston Smith for the Packers and Mike Williams for the Jets, and hopefully to give them a little bit more of an offense and a little bit more of a defense. Meanwhile, the Commanders, they're just having a fun time right now. They're the best team in their division right now, which no one thought that was ever going to happen, myself included. And while they did have a bit of a snoozy, that bit of an ugly game against the Giants, Jayden Daniels has still proven why he's the best QB, at least rookie of the year so far. And while their offense is nothing too spectacular, it is still making up for a very, 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 very fun run game. And not to mention, they did get the aforementioned Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints. That's going to help their secondary big time because Marshawn is a very reliable hand. And the Commanders right now, it's just a fun time to be a Washington fan. So this game can kind of go both ways, in my opinion. I was going to go Pittsburgh because they always bullshit their way out of a victory. But I'm going to go with Washington considering that they have a lot of momentum on their hands. Again, they're the best team in NFC East right now, which ain't saying much because that division is kind of weak. But the Steelers can make themselves a very competitive game. But I'm going to go with Washington. And who knows? Maybe Steelers go Super Bowl in the end. Following that, we've got the Minnesota Vikings versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Vikings coming off with a very ugly loss, or very ugly win, in that matter, to the Indianapolis Colts. And the Jags right now, yeah, they're not looking good right now. Meanwhile, talking about the Vikings, I want to go to the Vikings there for a second. They are still looking pretty solid, even though that they are looking a little bit iffy right now. I do apologize here, folks. Ma'am, sorry, my dog likes to be interrupting me with that. Stella, would you not be so rude? I'm trying to tell the people who I'm going to predict. Now, the Vikings are going to be taking on the Jaguars, and the Vikings did come off of a big victory over the Indianapolis Colts, and they do have Cam Robertson, who they acquired from the Jags. Now, you do like the Jaguars because they are kitties, but they did lose to the Eagles when they almost won against the Eagles because Nick Sirianni is a hack. But you do like Trevor Lawrence. This is Stella, everyone. We've had her for about a month and a half now. She's our adorable little fluff ball, and she likes to nibble on things, and she likes to steal socks. Say hi. Say hi. No? Okay, I'm letting you down. Anyways, yeah, the Vikings, they're starting to be on a little bit of a roll right now, even though they were a little bit quirky there for a little bit. While the Jags offense is still missing some key players, I do like Trevor Lawrence, but man, it's just not looking good for Jacksonville right now. I'm going to go with Minnesota on this one because they're just a better team overall. And Jags fans, I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry for that. Following that, we have an AFC West showdown between the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, the Broncos, at least they made it competitive for at least a quarter against a juggernaut-filled Baltimore Ravens team. But, yeah, it's not looking all that great right now for the Broncos. They are still a wild-card team, but they're not really looking all that great right now. Even though Bo Nix has started to improve a little bit, I'm still not fully convinced with him as of right now. But I do like the defense, and I do think the offense is still improving a little bit because, of course, Courtland Sutton is absolutely awesome, and he's making, highlight plays almost every single week. But you know what? It is what it is for Denver. And meanwhile, the Chiefs, they're always going to bullshit their way to a victory, even though they got away with a false start, and they got the game winner in the end, even though in reality, the overtime rules are complete bullshit, if you ask me. So, yeah, at least Mahomes didn't throw a pick. At least that's for a change. Sorry, folks. I hate yawning whenever I do my predictions. Now, I would like to see Denver win because I do think that Denver's defense is really, really, really strong. But considering how the Chiefs have been playing this year, they're going to play down the competition like any other team, and it's not going to be all that great in the outset of things. I'm going to go with the Chiefs, unfortunately, because we are not allowed to have nice things. They are very Patriots-esque, i.e., play some very, very, very boring football, have a boring defense, have a boring offense, have a great defense, and have a quarterback that is going through a bit of a midlife crisis right now in terms of his interceptions and his touchdown rate. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs. They're just a better team right now. But hopefully, Brandon Perna will be having a happy day in the outside of things. Following that, we've got the San Francisco 49ers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Niners finally enjoying themselves a well-needed bye week after being injured to hell and back. But folks, Christian McCaffrey might be coming back. Might. And if he does, all of fantasy football is going to be creaming their jocks especially. Yeah, the 49ers enjoying themselves a very, very, very nice bye week after manhandling the Dallas Cowboys the week prior. And right now, San Fran, they are 4-4. They are a bit of a weird spot right now. But it is really nice to see that maybe CMC might be coming back and a lot of players are healthy there as well. Meanwhile, the Bucs, they put on a hell of a fight, but ultimately came up short against the Kansas City Chiefs in overtime. And while the Bucs don't have any wide receivers to speak of, they are still a really solid football team, even though they are really, really, really banged up. And they are in trouble right now because, yeah, they've dropped their last, 2-3 games right now. And it's not looking all that great right now. But Baker Mayfield had himself a hell of a game. He put his heart and soul into that team, but ultimately came up very short. So I'm curious to see how this game might go, because both teams are still not 100%. If they were, I would have probably went with the Niners, and I am still going to go with San Francisco because they are coming off of a bye week. Tampa Bay, it's just looking a little rough for them right now. But I do think that Baker is going to do everything he can to make sure that this team stays in this game. But I just think the Niners are going to be a little bit too much because they were going to be getting some of their key pieces back. Hopefully, they're going to be able to have a good game. Excuse me. But, yeah, I just think the Niners are a better team right now. But Tampa Bay, hope you guys have a good game yourself. And then we get to the Buffalo Bills versus the Indianapolis Colts. The Bills coming off of a very, very, very close game to the Miami Dolphins, in which Tyler Bass saved his job with a 61-yard field goal. Considering how Bass has been lately, that is a big accomplishment for him. And you know what? Good for him. He kind of needed it after having some shortcomings, not only in that game, but in the playoffs as well. And the Bills right now, they're doing really damn good. Yes, Keenan Coleman did have that drop pass that led to a pick, but ultimately Josh Allen fired back and had himself a hell of a game against Miami. And yeah, their defense, while not the greatest right now, at least they're going to be getting some players back, especially Taron Johnson. I think they're going to have Bernard coming back as well. Meanwhile, the Colts, it's looking ugly for them. It's looking really, really, really ugly right now. Not only did they come off of a loss to the Minnesota Vikings, but Flacco did not play a good game at all. The whole team just felt kind of flat against the Vikings. And Minnesota was trying to give them a win, but ultimately it didn't work out for the Colts in the end. I do like their running game, and I do like some of their wide receivers, but it just kind of I don't even know what to say. Like, the Colts are just a weird team right now. It's like they want to be good, but it feels like they're not. So, yeah, but they're lumped into the AFC South, which is a pretty bad division right now. So, yeah, it's not looking good for the Colts right now. So, therefore, I'm going to go with the Bills. God damn it. I'm going to go with Buffalo with this one. I just think they have a lot of momentum right now. I believe they've been on a 4-game win streak right now, which I think is really damn good for them. And Buffalo right now, they're winning the AFC East by a long shot unless they have a major collapse. I do think they're going to be holding on to that division for a hot minute. And Josh Allen, keep playing a good game, man. Following that, we've got the Tennessee Titans versus the Los Angeles Chargers. The Titans coming off with a big victory over the New England Patriots in overtime. Yeah, that game certainly happened. The Titans right now are just a mess. They are an absolute mess right now. They don't really have any wide receivers. They don't have really a quarterback at all. Will Levis isn't the answer. Mason Rudolph didn't do himself any favors either. But yeah, as of right now, the Titans are standing at a comfortable 2-7 record, and they look to do nothing in the outside of things. Meanwhile, the Chargers came off with a huge victory over the Cleveland Browns. And, yeah, right now, it's looking pretty decent for the Chargers right now, considering that they don't really have anything too much going for them, but they're led by a Harbaugh-led defense, so you're going to have a good defense and you're going to have a solid offense. So Herbert right now is sitting pretty comfortably right now as being a really damn good quarterback. So while the Titans do have a solid defense, I think the Chargers are just the better team in the outside of things. I'm going to go with the Chargers with this one just because I don't think that... excuse me. Just because I don't think they have anything going for them right now. I'm going to go with the Chargers, and that's that. Following that, we've got the New Jersey Jets versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Jets coming off of the big victory on Halloween over the Houston Texans. Even though Malachi Corley nearly cost them the game, but that's neither here nor there. The Jets right now, they are doing pretty solid right now. Garrett Wilson had himself a hell of a game because he had some of the most unreal catches I've ever seen. And Rodgers, he's been doing okay as of lately. He hasn't been really setting the world on fire yet, but right now the Jets, yeah, they're 3-6, but they're a little weird right now, but that's the Jets franchise and organization in a nutshell. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, they absolutely smacked the Bears left, right, and center. Kyler Murray literally did nothing the whole game. They just let the offense and the defense do its work, and they really, really laid waste to the Bears right now. And they are somehow first in the NFC West. I don't know how that works, but here we are. But yeah, right now, the Cardinals, they're doing themselves very, very, very good stuff. Now, I'm kind of curious to see how this game is going to go because I feel like this game could go one of two ways. It's a must-win situation for the Jets, I will say, in order if they want to be in playoff contention. And I do think the Jets have a better team on paper, but you can never trust the Jets. I'm going to go with the Cardinals with this one to get an upset victory because... yeah, it's not looking great right now for the Jets because, yeah, they did give up Mike Williams, but nothing really too severe is going on in New Jersey right now. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals for the upset because it'll be funny in my opinion. And then, we've got an NFC East showdown between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles... Boy, Nick Sirianni, are you one to get yourself fired? Because, good God, dude, just take the damn points. That's all that you have to do. The Eagles, coming off with a big victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. The offense is just absolutely lights out right now. Devontae Smith's making amazing catches. Saquon Barkley's hurdling over people. And Jalen Hurts is having himself a damn good season right now. It's all looking good. Except for the play calling. The play calling has been absolutely ass right now because Nick Sirianni is a clown. And speaking of clowns, the Cowboys themselves. Mike McCarthy, are you trying to get yourself fired? Because why are you doing a fake punt at your own 40? That is a play call that happened, folks. Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys got absolutely smacked by the Atlanta Falcons. And good news, Dallas fans, your season is fucked because you don't have CeeDee Lamb and you don't have Dak. And Dak might actually be having a season-ending injury considering how bad his hamstring is from reports I have been seeing. Yeah, he might be out for the season. So you're either dealing with Cooper Rush or Trey Lance. Yeah, you're kind of fucked right now, Dallas. Oh, and not to mention you're going all in this time by acquiring Jonathan Mingo from the Panthers, who has had 12 catches his whole season. Yeah, that's what Dallas is doing right now. And it's actually hilarious to laugh at them because good old Jerry Boy thinks he's still thinking that the playoffs are still in reach when in reality they are not going to be reaching them at all. So I can honestly see the Eagles. I can honestly see the Eagles nearly giving Dallas the victory here. If Nick Sirianni is a complete buffoon, then he won't cost them this game, but I have a feeling he will. I'm still going to go with the Eagles because they're just the better team right now. And Dallas fans, We're not sorry in the outset of things. And then for Sunday Night Football, we've got the Detroit Lions versus the Houston Texans. The Lions, woo boy, that was a game that they had against the Green Bay Packers. Went into Lambeau Field and absolutely smacked them from pillar to post. Yeah, it was a bit of a slow start, but that's been kind of Detroit right now. Have a slow start, and then you could start demolishing them in the second half. Yes, Brian Branch got ejected on a good call, but a bullshit ending. But at the outset, it really didn't matter because Kirby Joseph is still making picks left, right, and center. And Jared Goff is literally doing nothing, and yet he's still having the team win games. Just have them run all over the defense, and you're going to be fine. So, yeah, that's exactly what Detroit did. Even though they did give up a touchdown at the very end, it came in garbage time. They did not give up a touchdown until the very end of the game. So that goes to show you how damn good the defense is becoming over the past couple of weeks. Not to mention, they finally got a pass rusher in, or an edge rusher in Zadarius Smith from the Browns. While he's no Aiden Hutchinson, I do think he is going to help out with that defense, that defensive line. And it's certainly going to get him a lot of pressure. Meanwhile, they're taking on the Texans, who are in free fall right now. They are not looking that great right now, which is a shame because this was a team that I thought was going to make some noise this season. And they were, until everyone got hurt. Kenyon Green's out for the season. Stephon Diggs is out for the season. Nico Collins is still out. The offense and the defense is not doing that good. Stroud got sacked 8 times. It's not looking good for Houston. And it's a damn shame, too, considering that I know this team has potential, but it just feels like they just can't get out of their own damn way. And I hate to say that because I had faith in the Texans this year, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. And this was kind of a preview of a Super Bowl, too, that a lot of people have fantasized it was going to happen. But judging how both teams are doing, I'm not seeing that at all. So while it is at home for Houston, Detroit is just the better team right now. They are the best team in football, even though they aren't record-wise. They are the best team in football. I think they're a complete team in the NFL right now. And they're just looking great right now. I'm going to go with the Lions with this one. I think Detroit's on a big tear. And Houston fans, sorry, the better team's going to win. And then for Monday Night Football, we've got the Miami Dolphins versus the Los Angeles Rams. The Dolphins, their season might be over after that game against the Bills. Because, man, oh man, the Tua tried everything he can to make sure that team stayed in that game. But in the end, they just couldn't do it at all. And the Dolphins right now, yeah, it's not looking great for them right now. Which is a shame because I thought they were going to be a good team this season. And they were. And then Tua got hurt. And that's literally all that happened. Meanwhile, the Rams came off of a big victory in Seattle against the Seahawks in a clutch game-winning drive in overtime by good old boy Matt Stafford with a one-handed grab by DeMarcus Robertson, too. In a game that had a shit ton of penalties, but had a lot of heart attacks for the Seahawks fans. But the Rams right now, they're starting to slowly crawl their way back up into the ranks and slowly starting to become a good football team when they are healthy. So, yeah, I'm curious to see how this game is going to go. Based off the performance I did think that the Rams are just the better team right now. And I do think this could be a good game, but I do think the Rams are just a better team right now. I think their defense is a little bit better. Jared Verse is really starting to come into his own. The offense is really starting to click, especially with Puka Nacua, even though he got ejected. And Cooper Kupp really starting to make noise. DeMarcus Robinson starting to become a reliable hand. And Tyler Higbee starting to do pretty solid. I do think that the Rams are just the better team overall. And sorry, Dolphins fans, but it's just not your season this year. So, folks, that is it for my Week 10 predictions. Who do you think is going to win? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, tap the big red subscribe button, and tap the bell so when I upload, you guys will be notified. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Most importantly, join the herd. Till you guys next video. Peace out.